One of the great sights in Stevens County, Minnesota each fall is a band of pheasants rising out of a field of grain or corn. As a farmer and hunter, Charlie Berg loved both farming and pheasants, and he worked most of his life in Stevens County and the state capital to promote both. Charlie's other passions included his spouse of 66 years, Carol. Charlie and Carol were born and raised in small Minnesota communities and met as agricultural school boarding students in Morris. Born in Graceville in 1927, Charlie grew up on the family farm near Chickayo. The family owned the farm for over 100 years, making it a century farm. He attended a county school in Traverse County and graduated from West Central School of Agriculture in Morris in 1945. Carol was born in 1928 to Gladys and Alex Lamb in Motley, located in central Minnesota. She attended elementary school in Motley and graduated from the West Central School of Agriculture, Morris, in 1945. Carol worked for several professors on campus as a stenographer. She was prolific in operating a typewriter and mimeograph. She took good shorthand, converting notes to typed documents. There were no computers in those days. The couple married on January 4th, 1948, and went to live in Traverse County, Minnesota, for a few years. They then moved back to Chickayo, where they lived on the Berg family farm, first as renters and later purchasing the farm. Here they built their family, including 3 sons and 4 daughters. The couple raised their children on the farm with the same morals and steadfastness that they practiced in their lives. The children were active in the Chickayo school system. 3 of the children eventually settled in Minnesota, and 4 made Alaska their home. Grandchildren and eventually great-grandchildren followed. Charles served on the Chickayo Board of Education, his church council, taught Sunday school, and he was on a nursing home advisory committee. He was president of the Minnesota Cattlemen's Association and served on the National Board of Directors for several years. He also enjoyed hunting and fishing, and the couple made yearly trips to Alaska to visit family in August. During this time, he spent 26 years in the Minnesota Senate, serving from 1976 to 2002. He was first elected an independent in 1972, then defeated in 1976. He was elected in 1980 as a Republican, then a Democrat in 1986, and finally back to an independent in 1996. In 2000, he ran as a Republican again. In 2002, he decided not to challenge Senator Dallas Sams, DFL Staples, in a redrawn district, though adding that the realignment was not a factor in calling it a career. Although he made many switches in his career, it was not because of inner turmoil. His views and morals stayed rock steady. He considered himself solidly conservative. I've always felt that your first obligation is to your district, then the state, and the party is very distant third, Berg told a reporter in 2001. Minneapolis Star-Tribune columnist Dennis Anderson remembers Charlie as free-spirited as they came. In a 2014 column, Anderson recalled Charlie's fascination with wildlife and conservation issues, and especially his work on promoting preservation of pheasant habitat in Minnesota. In 1983, the federal government announced a program called PIK, or Payment in Kind. This was a land diversion intended to reduce production because major grain commodities had been overproduced at the time, and prices farmers received were depressed. The problem, Berg told Anderson at the time, is that PIK doesn't allow farmers to sow down permanent cover on the land they idle. If they did, and the state pheasant stamp becomes law, I think we can make some real progress with pheasants in Minnesota. Anderson also credits Senator Berg with almost single-handedly winning passage of a law reopening dove hunting in Minnesota. One of Charlie's earliest legislative efforts was on behalf of farmers and other landowners in Polk and Grant counties, where a major power line connecting the Twin Cities with a generating plant in North Dakota was proposed and eventually built. Charlie worked to ensure that bills working their way through the Minnesota Senate protected the rights of farmers and others. He was Jesse Ventura a long time before Jesse Ventura was Jesse Ventura, said Berg's oldest son, Charles Jr., comparing their similar think it, say it approach. They were of the same cloth. Whatever Dad felt like saying, he said. In fact, his sharp tongue at times got him in hot water, such as in 1993 when he contended that some of his fellow senators were bought off by special interests representing American Indians as they voted against a bill he co-sponsored that would have allowed video gambling machines in bars. Colleagues signed a short-lived ethics complaint against Berg. Carol was involved in fiber arts activities, sewing, weaving, and an active member of the Dome Club, an organization of spouses of legislators, members of the Minnesota Supreme Court, and constitutional officers. For 8 years, she served as the Dome Club president. She was also a member of the Senate Club. Carol's grandchildren remember that she was a great cook and made wonderful pies. They always entertained travelers and opened their doors to family and family friends going through the area. They loved to play cards, especially bridge, and sat around the table and talked about life. They were very, very generous with their time and involvement with their grandchildren, said granddaughter Greta Lippert-Aranieri. This is something I will cherish the rest of my life.